All right, guys, welcome back because we're going to talk rack servers and server racks. Okay, let's get started. A rack server is one of the most useful items in IT hardware, allowing you to store multiple servers in a space-saving rack structure. Server modules are stored in mounting slots called bays and can often hold between 1 and 8 server units. Now, unlike tower racks that are designed to be stored in their own cabinets, see, a server rack has a lower profile. That allows your servers to sit on a shelf, or keeps them off the floor anyway. Rack servers are practical for their versatility, which allows them to be stacked, extended, and perhaps most importantly, networked. All right, let's have a look at why rack servers have become such the standard accessory in IT hardware management. So rack servers, they're the workhorses of the IT world, using companies of all sizes. Not surprising, really, because rack servers can offer you many clear advantages over other server configurations, including consolidated server and network control. Not only can you put all your server units in one place, but most rack servers offer the ability to install a network switch, and that's an enormous time saver. Network managers can simply connect all the servers into a single switch to quickly bring the servers online. What if you need to upgrade? Scalability is key. You need to upgrade, need to add more server units. Not a problem with rack servers. Most units simply slide in the slot and are secured with screws. Reprogramming a unit or adding a new one can be a simple matter of getting out your screwdriver. Convenience. Racks can be stored horizontally, with most racks allowing servers to be locked into a low space-saving profile. Rack servers are easy to move and easy to position in tight spaces, even when server racks are stacked. However, it is important to remember that the more server units get added to your server rack, the heavier, warmer, and more power-intensive it will be. So it's very important to have your rack server in a cool, low-dust environment, and also keep in mind the more server units you have, the more provisions you need to make for cooling equipment. Compact. Each rack server fits neatly in a 19 by 1.75-inch enclosure. So each of those 1 3/4-inch high rack units, they're abbreviated as U, with a typical full-size rack cage being 42U, and hardware typically measured in heights of 1U, 2U, 3U, and 4U. Now, while the capacity of all these components can vary widely depending on your data and computing needs, most individual rack servers contain these common components. A motherboard. So this single server board connects all the systems in your rack and allows the components and data buses to communicate with each other. A central processing unit, or CPU, also known as a processor for short. While a motherboard provides connections, it's the CPU that allows you to set processes and issue instructions to the servers in your rack. So you got to think of it as the thoughts that travel over the brain of your computer. RAM, or random access memory. Now this, in short, is the active data processing capacity of your server stack. Scale it up with more server units or scale it down by taking some away. But the server racks with the most server memory slots will make it easy to upgrade your processing power for the future without time-consuming reconfigurations. A host bus adapter, or HBA. Well, this simple item allows you to connect external devices to your server, such as networked storage. I/O ports. These ports are a whole subcategory unto themselves, and where you place them can have a big impact on your server design and functionality. Some of the types of ports include USBs, serial ports, or aux ports. Which ones you choose will depend on your server size, use case, and configuration. Drive bays. Now, nearly every server rack configuration will have auxiliary drive bays included, So this allows you to bring on more hard disk drives, or HDDs, or solid-state drives, SSDs, as your needs dictate and grow. Extra equipment. So these are the little add-ons that make your server stack easier to manage. Some of the common items include rack rails, bars for corralling your cables, and a cooling system that keeps your server rack running healthy and strong. So basically, rack servers make it possible for your IT operation to coordinate, protect, and store your data processing resources. When you mount your server units into a rack server, you create a network for your company that is scalable and manageable. Most organizations have dozens of rack servers, and some even have hundreds or more, all of them part of the same corporate network and working to keep data operations humming. Most rack servers are stationary and made from metal. However, in military installations, rack servers are designed to be portable for working in the field and are designed with carrying cases, dust-proof shields, portable cooling equipment, rubberized bumpers, and other design elements that make it possible to keep their server systems strong and on the go. But either way, your rack server configuration is one of the most important IT management decisions that you'll make. So choose wisely, my friends. So you've got to be aware of all the technological advancements in this age of big data and IoT, or Internet of Things, because it's all resulted in an increase of computing demands, as well as a change in geographical distribution and location types where IT systems are deployed. So IT managers are looking for IT infrastructure that's reliable, flexible, secure, and operationally economical. For instance, when they're designing their server racks, they consider products that deliver protection and secure access to critical IT systems. They should be able to accommodate growth and expansion while being cost-effective. So many IT managers find value in using a single manufacturer for integrated and complementary solutions. Of course, this approach results in improved availability, quicker deployments, increased staff efficiency, and better security and reduced cost. A server rack houses and organizes critical IT systems, which can be configured to support a wide variety of requirements. It's often called a server rack cabinet. It's enclosed to ensure security. Server racks are most commonly found in data center environments, but they can also be used in smaller computer closets. The 19-inch server rack is a standardized size frame or enclosure for mounting equipment and is used for computer server equipment. The 19-inch server rack allows dense hardware configurations without taking up a lot of the floor space or shelving. So if you only require a small number of servers, it's the best choice economically due to its lower upfront costs. Equipment placed on the rack is referred to as rack-mounted or rack-mount device. So rack-mountable equipment is mounted by bolting or clipping its front panel to the rack. Now, server racks are sometimes called LAN racks, network racks, or other terms, but they're generally the same. Rack enclosures where critical IT systems are mounted. They can be pre-configured or customized. The pre-configured racks are factory assembled and deployed pretty quickly and easily. They're often the less expensive option. Server racks can be customized to fit desired needs and specifications. Now, companies which require unique width, height, or depth dimensions, or even specialized applications like water or dust proofing or shock resistance, can work closely with a provider to design a custom server rack solution. Server racks cabinets can be classified as open frame or locked. Open server racks have more space and flexibility and allow cable accessibility, usually from the top. But since they're not locked, they're often found inside secure server rooms. While usually more expensive, closed server racks can be locked, it's often a better option if the server rack will be placed outside of a secure server room or in a non-secure location. Now, in order to determine the server rack size, consider what kind of equipment will be placed in the server rack and how many. Now, you know standard-sized racks are usually selected because standard-sized equipment easily integrates into the rack. The server rack depth is the distance of the front rail to the back of the rail. Not only is it crucial to find out the size of the server rack component, but IT managers also need to account for the wire connections and airflow required. The rack unit, abbreviated as U or RU, is the unit of measurement. It's used to define the vertical space available in an equipment rack. It's applied to the server rack as well as the devices that they hold. And it's actually a standardized measurement. Multiples of 1.75 inches, which is 44.45 millimeters, or one rack unit, or U. Now, most racks are sold in the 42U form, which means a single rack can hold up to 42 one-unit devices, or, of course, any combination of 1U, 2U, 3U, or other rack unit heights that add up to 42 or less. All right, so we're going to wrap it up here and enjoy that because we've talked a lot about rack servers and server racks. See you next lesson.